Now let's move on to the next question, that is question number 7 on the screen. Here we have, why are xylem and phloem called as complex tissues? Right, so to answer this, we know that tissues are made up of cells, right? When cells group together, they form tissue. Alright, but the question is asking that xylem and phloem are known as complex tissue. Why they are known as complex tissue? Obviously, we know that when the cells group together, they form tissue. But why xylem and phloem are known as complex tissues? So the answer of this question is, xylem and phloem are known as complex tissues because they are made up of different kind of cells. And the arrangement of different kind of cells together to form a tissue known as xylem and phloem, that is why they are known as complex tissues, because they are made up of different kind of cells. Now all these different kind of cells which are making up xylem and phloem tissues as a complex tissue, all these different cells are working together in a coordinated manner and as a unit to perform various kind of functions. Xylem tissue and phloem tissue are two different tissues and are totally different from each other, but present in a plant. Xylem conducts water from roots to leaves, whereas phloem tissue conducts food or transports food from leaves to other parts of a plant. So this is why the xylem and phloem known as complex tissue. Answer is simple, that these are made up of different kind of cells. So let's write answer of question number 7. So xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem are made up of different kind of tissues, are made up of different kind of tissues, right? These different not tissues, here we are going to write cell. The appropriate word is cell, because tissue are made up of cells, not tissues are made up of tissue. So here we can write different kind of cells. Right. So xylem and phloem are made up of different kind of cells. Different kind of cells group together to form a tissue, and this makes them as complex tissue. So these different cells in the complex tissue, works together in a coordinated manner, as a unit to perform various functions, right? These different kind of cells which are making up complex tissue known as xylem and phloem makes them as complex, right? Because in general what happens when we are talking about tissue, the tissue is actually the group of cell. But to make up a tissue, all similar kind of cells are grouping together to form a tissue. But in case of xylem and phloem, different kind of cells group together to form these tissues. That is why we call them as complex tissues. Now these complex tissues are having different kind of cells. All these different kind of cells work together in a coordinated manner and as a unit to perform various functions. Now xylem is different, of course it is different from phloem, as xylem conducts water, it conducts water from roots to leaves, whereas the phloem. We know that. What is the function of phloem? Phloem is a special kind of tissue which transports food from leaves to other parts of plant, right? Other parts of plant. That is why the transportation of xylem or the transportation of water with the help of xylem is said to be unidirectional, that is from root to leaves, and the transport of food materials such as sucrose from leaves to other parts of a plant with the help of phloem is said to be bidirectional, right? So with this we have completed the solution of question number 7.